In this lecture, we will be recreating this dashboard in Tableau. We will be using the sample superstore dataset for the data. You can find a copy of this workbook as well as the dataset in the resources section of the course. I have provided a link to the view in our previous lecture. The dashboard contains two worksheets. So the first worksheet shows categories as custom shapes. We will be using images from Google for these different categories. And the second sheet shows sales by the subcategory. We have included a single value list filter for the states. The user is able to view sales by various categories for these different states. So let's go ahead and get started. First, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and connect to our sample superstore dataset. Once we have the data connected, we're going to go ahead and open up a brand new sheet. And we are going to bring in our category over to the rows. We're going to change the mark from automatic to a shape, and we'll drag the category over to the shapes. As you can see, each of these different fields in the category column have been assigned a distinct shape. So the furnitures have been assigned a circular shape, the office supplies a square, and the technology the plus sign. So we're going to be assigning custom shapes for each of these different categories. So the way you do it is you're going to go ahead and click on the shape mark, and over here what we have done is we have saved these different images from Google into our shapes folder. You can find the shapes folder in your documents. You're going to go to your documents folder. You're going to go ahead and click on my Tableau repository, click on shapes, and we created a new folder called worksheet 1, and this is where we went ahead and saved our different shapes for the categories. So we saved one for the furniture, for the office supplies, and for technology. Once you have these shapes saved in that folder, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your sheet, and over here you are going to click on reload shapes. Once you click on reload shapes and you click on the drop down, you're going to see the new folder has been added, and the name is worksheet 1. So from here what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on furniture, give it a shape, click on office supplies, give this a shape, and give on the technology category and give this shape as well. So once we have assigned each of these different categories a shape, we're going to go ahead and click on apply and click on OK. So once we have the shapes assigned for these different categories, we are going to go ahead and increase the size. So we're going to go ahead and click on the size mark and give it the max size, and we are going to change the sheet from a standard to entire view. We're going to go ahead and hide the title. So this is the first view. So the second view contains the subcategories, and then we have the sales, and then we have color coded each of these different subcategories based on the category. So as you can see, technologies have been assigned the color red, the office supplies have been assigned the color of orange, and furnitures have been assigned the color blue. So we're going to go ahead and create another sheet. We are going to drag in subcategory and the sales, and drag in category over to the color. So this will give each of these different categories, subcategories, its own color based on the category. We will give this sheet a name, which is sales by subcategory. And we are going to include a filter, a quick filter for the state. So we're going to go ahead and click on the dimension state and click on show filter. We are going to change the filter from a list, multiple value list, into a single value list. Afterwards, we're going to go ahead and open a new dashboard. and we are going to drag in each of these sheets. So we're going to drag in our first sheet, and right below it we are going to bring in our second sheet. And since we already have the pictures as the legend, we don't really need the legend over here, so we're going to go ahead and close this, and we are going to bring in our filter for the state. So we're going to click on the drop down, go to filter, and bring in the state. Let's go back. So we have the state here. Okay, so we brought in the wrong sheet, so we're going to go ahead and bring this sheet in, and we have the state. We'll move the state over to the left. We will minimize this, we'll hide the title, and we'll remove the legend. So from here, what we are going to do is we're going to include the name right below these different categories, so the consumer of the dashboard knows which category they're clicking on before. So we're going to go ahead and go to our sheet, and we are going to press Control on the category and bring it over to the labels. It will create a copy of this pill. So this gives us the name under the different category shapes. So we'll go ahead and go back to our dashboard, and from here we're going to enable the filtering. So this way, when the user clicks on technology, the subcategories get filtered based on technology. So we're going to go ahead and click on Use as Filter, and now the filtering for technology, office supplies, furniture, it's working. And this lets the user change the different states. Another thing we're going to do on this worksheet is we are going to enable the marks. And let's sort this. Okay, so now the user can click on various categories, and it will show the sales based on those categories. So this is how you create the first view. Let's go ahead and create the second view. In this lecture, we will be recreating this dashboard in Tableau. We are using the sample Superstore dataset for the data. You can find a copy of this workbook as well as the dataset in the resources section of the course. I have provided a link to this view in the Tableau in the previous lecture. So basically what this dashboard lets the user do is they can run multiple different calculations from this one dashboard. They can compare various dimensions against the various measures that we have placed. The dimensions are included in a parameter, and as well as the different measures, so the user can change the view depending on what they're trying to look at. So let's say they're trying to see the subcategory, they would select the subcategory dimension, and if they wanted to see the profit by various subcategories, they can click on profit here, and they can click on subcategory in the dimension parameter. What this lets the user do is they can create multiple different views. Instead of creating different dashboards, they can just create one dashboard and have all of these different views in it. So let's go ahead and create this in Tableau. So the first thing you're going to do is connect to your sample Superstore dataset, and once you have that done, you're going to be at this screen right here. So what we will do is first we are going to create a basic view. So we're going to bring in our state and sales. So let's bring in state and the different sales. Let's sort this and turn on the marks. Now from here what we're going to do is we're going to create a parameter which is going to have these different measures. So we'll give it a name of c.measures. And since we're working with strings, we'll change the data type to string, click on list, and we're going to list out these different measures. So once these parameters have been listed, go ahead and click on OK. and click on show parameter control. Let's change the parameter control into a single value list so we're able to view the names of these measures. And then afterwards we are going to do the same thing for the dimensions. So let's go to the drop down, create a parameter. Let's give it a name of C dimensions, change it to a string, click on list, and let's list out a few of these categories, columns. So let's type in category, city, customer ID, and customer name. Let's click on OK, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to click on the parameter dimensions, click on show parameter control, change it to a single value list, and once we have this done, let's go ahead and try to change this. So as you can see, the changes, as you're making the changes, they're not getting reflected here. The reason being is because these parameters need to be inside a calculation, and we need to put the calculations in our view for the parameters to work. So let's create a calculated field, and we'll give it a name of calculation for the measures. And the way we are going to write this calculation is we're going to write case and the name of the parameter, which is measures, and afterwards we'll write when discount, then give us discount, when profit, then sum of profit, when quantity, then sum of quantity, when sales, then sum of sales. We are going to end this with the end, and afterwards let's see. So when discount, then give us discount, when profit. So we are missing a parenthesis right here. So once we have fixed these errors, go ahead and click on apply, OK, and we are going to create another calculated field for the different dimensions that we have. So same thing, we'll give it a name, dimensions, and case, the name of the parameter, when category, then give us the category, when city, then give us the city, so once we have the calculation created, we are going to go ahead and click on apply and OK. We will replace these different dimensions and measures with the calculations that we have created. So we will replace the dimension for the state, and then we will put the new calculation right on top of the sales. We will change the chart from a horizontal to a vertical, and let's sort this. So once we have that done, now when the user changes different measures, these changes are going to be reflected on the chart. So the user can say if he wants to see the sales for the city, they can click on city, they can click on sales, and they're able to view the sales for the city. Another thing we're going to do over here before we put all of this into a dashboard is we're going to give the title a name. So the name we are going to give, it will be a dynamic name based on the selections that we have made over here. This way the user wouldn't have to see which selections they made on the measures filter and which selections they had made on the dimensions filter. So we'll go ahead and double click on the sheet, remove what we have here. We'll click on the drop down insert and click on the first parameter. So parameter sales by, click on the second parameter and click on apply. As you can see, now this chart is showing the selections that we have made. So it shows us sales by city. Let's fix the formatting so it pops out a little bit more. Click on apply. Okay, so we also moved the measures over to the colors shelf, and now it shows it's color coded by the amount of sales. So the highest one being the darkest and the lowest one being the lightest. So now if the user selects discount, they're able to view what exactly they're looking at right now. So they're looking at the discount by city, discount by customer ID, discount by customer name, sales by customer name, and so on. So they can dynamically change each of these different values in the measures and the dimensions parameter to create the view that they're trying to create. Afterwards, we can go ahead and bring this in to our dashboard, change this into fit height. Okay, so now the user can select. So this is how you create this view in Tableau.